Welcome to APush for 5, your shortcut to mastering the AP U.S. history exam. Let's jump into Period 4, 1800 to 1848, where America transformed through democracy, reform, and growth. Question 1. Stimulus. Eli Whitney's cotton gin, 1793, greatly increased the speed of processing cotton. Question. One unintended consequence of this invention was A rapid decline in Southern reliance on enslaved labor. B. The rise of textile mills in the Deep South. C. The westward spread of plantation agriculture. D. Increased industrial output in the upper Midwest. The correct answer is C, the westward spread of plantation agriculture. The gin expanded cotton production and slavery. A reverses the effect. B and D misplace industrial impact. Question 2. Stimulus, C chart. Question. This trend most directly resulted from A. Agricultural collapse caused by Western soil depletion. B. Trade disruptions during the War of 1812 that encouraged self-sufficiency. C. The spread of European free trade policies to the U.S. economy. D. Immigration quotas that increased domestic employment. The correct answer is B, trade disruptions during the War of 1812 that encouraged self-sufficiency. Clay's American system linked tariffs, a bank, and infrastructure to build the economy. Other options describe unrelated reforms. Question 3. Stimulus. Commerce undoubtedly is traffic, but it is something more. It is intercourse. Chief Justice Marshall, Gibbons versus Ogden, 1824. Question. Marshall's broad definition of commerce. A. Strengthened state control over maritime charters and licenses. B. Upheld private corporate monopolies against public oversight. C. Expanded Congress's authority over interstate navigation and trade. D. Limited federal involvement in domestic transport monopolies. The correct answer is C. Expanded Congress's authority over interstate navigation and trade. The court invalidated New York's steamboat monopoly, extending federal control to interstate navigation and reinforcing national supremacy. Question 4. Stimulus. Newspaper headlines celebrating the era of good feelings. 1819. Question. The phrase era of good feelings was misleading because A. The era of good feelings was not one of Taylor Swift's memorable eras. B. Partisan conflict reached record intensity during the era. C. The U.S. experienced constant prosperity and stability. D. Sectional and economic tensions persisted despite political unity. The correct answer is D. Sectional and economic tensions persisted despite political unity. Explanation. The Panic of 1819 and slavery debates fractured consensus. A was just to make sure you're paying attention. B and C are false. Question 5. Stimulus. Delegates discuss limiting federal power, requiring a 2/3 vote for war. Hartford Convention, 1814. Question. The Hartford Convention most directly reflected A. Federalist frustration with a war that crippled New England trade. B. Western outrage over native resistance supported by Britain. C. Jeffersonian hopes for renewed French alliances. D. Sectional unity behind war aims and expansionism. The correct answer is A. Federalist frustration with a war that crippled New England trade. The Hartford Convention opposed Madison's war and trade policies, showing regional dissent. Other answers mix up support for war or its goals. Question 6. Stimulus. The spirit of party is now happily extinguished. We have one people, one government, one destiny. Editorial during the era of good feelings, 1820. Question. The sentiment above would soon prove inaccurate because A. The Supreme Court began striking down nationalist legislation. B. Western states demanded isolation from Atlantic trade. C. Disputes over tariffs, slavery, and improvements reignited sectional tension. D. European alliances threatened to divide the nation. The correct answer is C. Disputes over tariffs, slavery, and improvements reignited sectional tension. Despite political calm, sectional and economic rifts, especially slavery and tariffs, soon shattered the illusion of unity. Question 7. Stimulus. The proposed system of roads and canal does not appear to be warranted by the Constitution. James Madison, 1817. Question. Madison's veto of the bonus bill reflected A. Enduring Republican caution towards centralized economic authority. B. Support for state-financed improvements. C. Fear of foreign investors controlling routes. D. Advocacy of federal management of Western settlement. The correct answer is A. Enduring Republican caution towards centralized economic authority. Madison's veto showed lingering strict constructionism, even amid rising nationalism, limiting federal funding for infrastructure. Question 8. Stimulus. If you believe slavery is wrong, your duty is clear. Act upon your belief. Grimke Sisters. Appeal to the Christian women of the South, 1836. Question. The appeal above reflects the emergence of A. Campaigns for women's legal autonomy within family law and property rights. B. Southern moderation through gradual manumission supported by slaveholders. C. Evangelical backlash opposing abolitionist agitation in northern churches. D. Emergence of female-led moral reform movements linked to religious revivalism. The correct answer is D. Emergence of female-led moral reform movements linked to religious revivalism. The Grimkes tied Christian ethics to abolition, mobilizing women for reform. A comes later, B was rare, and C opposed them. Question 9. Stimulus. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal. Declaration at Seneca Falls Convention, 1848. Question. The authors of this document modeled their language on A. Federalist papers promoting ratification of the Constitution through logic and persuasion. B. Declaration of Independence emphasizing natural rights and self-government. C. Monroe Doctrine asserting Western Hemisphere dominance against European influence. D. Bill of Rights securing individual liberties from government infringement. The correct answer is B. Declaration of Independence, emphasizing natural rights and self-government. By echoing Jefferson's 1776 phrasing, Stanton and Mott asserted gender equality as an extension of Republican ideals. The other choices lack the same rhetorical parallel. Question 10. Stimulus. This 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, I must mourn. Frederick Douglass, What to the Slave is the 4th of July, 1845. Question. Douglass's words highlight A. Exposure of the contradiction between national ideals of liberty and the persistence of slavery. B. Assertion that the Constitution enshrined slavery as a necessary political compromise. C. Endorsement of African colonization as the only path to emancipation. D. Prediction that Northern industrialists would soon support universal emancipation. The correct answer is A. Exposure of the contradiction between national ideals of liberty and the persistence of slavery. Douglass condemned the hypocrisy of freedom amid slavery, urging America to live its ideals. B and C reflect positions he rejected. D overstates Northern support. Thanks for watching A Push for 5. Let us know in the comments which questions you liked the most. If today's practice helped you, tap like, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss any future videos. And share this with a friend who's also aiming for that 5. If you want more hands-on learning or direct feedback, reach out directly. We'd love to help you take your prep to the next level. See you in the next video.